Hi again, everybody. So, hopefully we're all feeling all right, or at least as all right as we can be coming off of our first exam. I know that those are always a very stressful time, even if you do pretty well on them. So, hopefully we're feeling who knows, but I hope people are doing all right. Anyway, this week we're going to be moving on into our next unit of material. We're going to be moving on into Chapter 3, where we're going to be talking about logic. And before I get into that, I do want to make it clear that we're talking about logic in a slightly different sense than the Ben Shapiro destroy with facts and variety. Here we're looking at logic in terms of symbolic logic, in terms of how we can present and discuss the truth value of certain things, or the basic unit we have for this is what we introduced in section 3.1. It's a thing called a statement. And we're going to see what a statement is in comparison to what it might not be, as well as what it might mean to negate a statement, and how we can qualify a statement, how we can add some conditions to it. Then from there in 3.2, we're going to talk about the ways that we can bring pairs or sets of statements together in terms of things with and, or, if then, if and only if, the different ways that we can pull these parts together and still talk about their truth or falsity, I guess is the word there. And then in 3.3, we're developing more of that symbolic side even further and talking about things called truth tables to be able to see when certain simple cases happen to be, let's say, reasonable, when they happen to have truth in terms of, in particular, what happens with our negated cases, times where we say and times where we say or. So, with this in mind as our setup, we've got quite a lot this week. We are going to have as well a worksheet, getting back to our normal schedule coming off of that exam. Then from there, we have a set of MyLab deadlines for next week. I've been talking too much even though I'm just recording an intro. Those are going to be due on Wednesday like they usually are. And on top of that, we have our pre-assessment for moving further on into Chapter 3 next week, as well as our first challenge problem due next Monday, where challenge problems are extra credit. I don't normally like to talk about extra credit, but for the first times, it's worth bringing up that this is sort of a chance to go back over things that may have been more difficult than what I'd normally put on an exam, or maybe a bit more loose, a bit more open-ended, to give people who might not have as much of a mathematical background a chance to think about things in perhaps a different sort of context. Anyway, that's what we're looking at for this week. So let's get in here and start thinking logically, I guess. I don't know, but, well, you'll see what I mean in a few minutes.